It's like the weirdest place you've played. Like a venue or like some weird setting.
Egypt.
Or Egypt? Okay. Talk to us
Egypt,
about
100%. Well, first of all, our band name is illegal there, so they couldn't like I mean it's a very Islamic country, so abortion is obviously not that the band has anything to do with abortion, but conservatives and whatnot will link it to that for some reason. So they were not allowed to call us aborted over there, and the promoter wanted to put like big billboards. So they were like huge billboards with our faces on them, like on skyscrapers and shit in Cairo. But they had changed the name to ABORTED with a P. The funny thing is, in Arabic, the P doesn't exist and they pronounce it as a B. So it said aborted anyway when they read it out loud. So, so that was pretty funny. But we played a venue next to the Nile, the river the Nile. It was like under a bridge. And right before going on, the promoter was like, so yeah, the cops are here. And here's a list of things you can't do. You can't talk about God. You can't swear. You can't do this. That's like a whole list, like I don't know, like 20 fucking things, whatever, that I couldn't talk about. And the cops were standing on the side of the stage.
This thing,
Yes, exactly. I'm sorry I have violated your terms 100 times over, but so the cops were standing on the side of the stage and they were filming the entire time to note down like if I was doing stuff that wasn't okay, and then either I'd go to jail or well, the whole band would go to jail. I guess I had that power.
Oh, no pressure, right?
No, no pressure.
No pressure.
And then right, or the promoter would get fined per like infraction. It depended on what it was. And next to that, there was a lot of people there, but what we didn't know is that crowds are not allowed to have pits and whatnot. So they were really just standing there watching, but that's because that's all they were allowed to do. And that was a very weird experience. So, we start playing the show, and one of the things was like, you can't curse. And I go up and like within 10 seconds, I'm like, bang your fucking heads. And like, I look at the cops like, whoops. Yeah, but they don't understand screamy poopy voice, so it's all good.
Yeah, nothing came of it. I take it.
Nothing came of it, but it was very weird that we played that place, and there was a lot of like people with the hijab and all that stuff, which you don't see at shows. Let's be honest, in Europe or in the US, and there was all that, and it's just like interesting to see, to see fans from there and enjoying this kind of music in their own way, because in the way that they're allowed to. So that was interesting. South Africa was interesting too, but that's a different story.
Well, we're here for the stories.
Yeah, we're here for it.
So, here for the stories. All right. So we played in Johannesburg, and right next to the venue was an abortion clinic. So that immediately was pretty fucking funny.
Okay.
On brand.
And that was very on brand. They were crazy. It was a thing called Witch Fest, and fans were absolutely crazy. And it also a very, very different demographic than what we're used to over here. And it was just a really good time. Very different people. A very crazy place, I'll say that. We couldn't go anywhere without a chaperone because it was dangerous as hell. So, but yeah. Yeah, very interesting.
Oh, you kind of like escorted from like the flight from where you were. Did you guys drive in, or is that a flight scenario?
Oh, that's a flight. Yeah, South Africa's South Africa's far. So it was far. It's more or less in the same time zone, which is funny because it was like it's a pretty far flight. And what was really weird is like the hotel they put us up looked like a plantation. That felt a little weird. We were like, okay, that's weird. And we saw all these signs everywhere and barbed wire that said like armed response. And armed response apparently over there is a thing where The cops don't really do that much for security, but if you have money, you can hire these mercenaries to come protect your house. It's a crazy thing.
Holy fuck, man.
Pretty relaxed in Montreal in comparison. And I'm hearing that. I'm like,
here you'll get your van broken into, but that'll be, you know,
yeah.
At least it's not the armed patrol, I guess.
That's another crazy thing about Egypt. Like we went to, you know, sightsee, see the pyramids and whatnot, and the cops were driving around in these weird pickup trucks, but they were all masked and they had like AK-47s and shit, and you're just like, you're seeing it and you're like, what the hell? Crazy stuff.
I love that everything you do is like under extreme pressure. Like it's supposed to be like you're technically like a guest to play music. You're there for fun, and yet it's like, you know, you're seeing like weapons, and it's just, I know it's different in those places, but I can only imagine like it's a special welcoming environment. Maybe I'm gonna say it like that.
Well, it's just really weird because we're not used to it, right? I'm sure for people there, it's just normal, you know? But when you're not used to it and you see this kind of shit, you're like, okay.